It's funny how heartbreak doesn't sound like thunder. It's quiet like the moment before a fire alarm goes off, when everything still looks normal, and then suddenly your whole life's burning down. When I left him, I didn't even pack properly. Just a duffel bag, my old sneakers, and the smell of smoke that always clung to his uniform. Noah. My Noah, the man who once promised me forever, then went back to his ex like it was nothing. Or so I thought. That night, I took the bus out of town. The rain fell so hard it blurred the city lights into a mess of color. My chest felt tight not from crying, but from trying not to. I told myself I was strong, that leaving first meant I won. But the truth was simpler and uglier. I was just scared to be the one left behind. Noah was everything I wasn't. Brave, grounded, the kind of man who ran into burning buildings when everyone else ran out. I still remember how his hands trembled when he first held mine, though soft, careful, like he knew he was touching something fragile. Maybe he did. We met back in college. In the most cliché way possible, he spilled coffee on my laptop in the campus cafe. I yelled, he panicked, and somehow that turned into lunch, then late-night talks, and then mornings where his shirt became mine. Back then, he wasn't a firefighter yet. He was just a boy with too much laughter and not enough sleep, trying to figure out who he was. But college love stories don't always survive the real world. His ex, Luke, the golden boy from his fraternity, showed up at our graduation party, drunk and desperate. One night, one argument, and one misunderstanding later. Noah didn't come home. I waited all night, then all week, and when I finally saw him again, his face was covered in guilt. He didn't even have to say it, I already knew. So I left. It's been 3 years since then. I live in a quiet coastal town now, working at a small bookstore that smells like sea salt and old paper. My boss, Mrs. Green, still calls me the city boy who ran from something. I guess she's right. Every time I hear a siren in the distance, my chest tightens before my mind reminds me he's not here. Or at least he wasn't. Until last night. The bell above the shop door rang right as I was locking up. I didn't look up at first, I just said, "Sorry, we're closed." Then I heard it. That voice. Low, rough, a little tired. "Eli." I froze. The sound of his name on my tongue had been a ghost for years. When I turned, the world tilted. He stood there in his fire department jacket, hair slightly damp, eyes wide like he'd run 1,000 miles. Noah. Older now. Broader. But it was him. My heart didn't know whether to run or to jump out of my chest. I wanted to speak, but the words wouldn't come. He took a step forward, then stopped, like he was afraid I'd vanish. "I've been looking for you," he said softly. I laughed. Came out broken. 3 years late, huh? He winced. "I deserve that. Deserve worse," I muttered. The silence that followed wasn't empty, it was heavy. Full of everything we never said. Regrets, apologies, longing. Finally, he said, "Luke lied. That night. He told me you wanted him back. He showed me messages. I was drunk. I believed him. I hate myself for it." I stared. My throat went dry. "You think that makes it better?" "No," he said. "It makes it worse. Because it means I didn't trust you when I should have." Something inside me cracked. Not in anger, in exhaustion. I'd replayed that night so many times, trying to find logic in the pain. But hearing him say it out loud made it real, and real hurt more than the memories ever did. He looked at me then, really looked like he was trying to memorize the man I'd become. "Eli," he said, voice trembling, "I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed to see you. To tell you I still..." "Don't," I whispered. "Don't say it." Because if he said it, I'd break. But Noah never listened when I told him to stop caring. He stepped closer until we were only inches apart. I could feel the warmth of him, smell the faint smoke and salt in his hair. "I love you," he said anyway. And damn it, my eyes stung. I wanted to hit him, to yell, to make him hurt the way I had. But instead, I whispered, "Why now?" He smiled sadly. "Because last week, I pulled a kid out of a fire. He couldn't have been more than 18. He looked at me and said, 'Tell the guy you love before it's too late.' and I realized I've spent 3 years pretending I wasn't dying inside. My heart stuttered. You think showing up here fixes everything? No, he said, but maybe it's a start. Before I could reply, thunder rumbled somewhere over the ocean. The storm rolled in quick, sharp, and electric. He laughed that same stupid, beautiful laugh that once lit up my world and said, "Guess we're still bad at timing." Something about that broke the tension. I found myself laughing too, tears mixing with the rain that had started to fall. He reached for my hand slowly, like asking permission. And for the first time in years, I didn't pull away. Outside, lightning flashed, illuminating the world in silver. He looked up at me, water dripping down his lashes, eyes full of hope. "Eli," he whispered, "I came to bring you home. But the thing about home is it's not always a place. Sometimes it's a person. And I wasn't sure if I was ready to forgive. But maybe, just maybe, I was ready to listen." The rain had stopped by the time I found the courage to speak again. The street outside the shop glistened beneath the flicker of a lone lamppost, and Noah stood there soaked, breathless, waiting for something I didn't know if I could give. I didn't invite him inside. Not yet. Instead, I said quietly, "Walk with me." We walked down the empty street, the sound of our wet shoes slapping against the pavement. The town was small, quiet enough that you could hear the waves crashing in the distance. Every few steps, I caught him glancing at me, like he was afraid I might disappear again. When we reached the boardwalk, the sky had begun to clear. Stars peeked through the clouds, one by one, timid at first, then bold. I stopped at the railing, looking out at the dark ocean. "You know," I said softly, "there were nights I'd come here and imagine what I'd say to you if you ever found me." He stayed a step behind me, silent. "I thought I'd scream," I continued, "or laugh, or just walk away again. But now that you're actually here," I turned to face him, "I just feel tired." Noah's eyes glistened in the dim light. "I don't blame you. You should," I snapped, the words sharper than I meant. "You should blame me. I left without giving you a chance to explain." He shook his head. "You did what I drove you to do. You had every reason to go." I looked at him for a long moment. His face older, stronger, but still him. That same line between his brows when he was trying not to cry. "You really believed Luke?" I asked, voice trembling. He swallowed. "He showed me texts, Eli. They looked real. I was drunk, angry, insecure. I thought you wanted him back. I thought I was losing you, so you ran first. I finished for him." The irony wasn't lost on either of us. Two men who loved each other so fiercely we'd rather destroy everything than risk being the one left behind. He took a shaky breath. "I spent years trying to make sense of it. Every fire I ran into, every call, I told myself I could burn away the guilt. But it never left. You never left." For a moment, all I heard was the ocean, the waves, the quiet ache of something that used to be love or maybe still was. "Noah," I whispered, "you broke me." He nodded. "I know. I've replayed it every night for 3 years. I'd do anything to change it." I stared down at my hands. "You can't change the past." "I know," he said again. "But maybe we can still change what comes next." When I looked up, he was closer than before. He wasn't reaching for me, just standing there, waiting. I could see the way his chest rose and fell, the way his jaw trembled when he said, "Let me earn it this time. Let me stay." I wanted to say no, to protect myself, to pretend that healing meant closing the door for good. But there was something in his eyes, something so raw, so human that made my defenses crumble. So I said the only thing I could. "Why me?" He frowned, confused. "You could have moved on," I said. "Found someone new. Someone who didn't remind you of your worst mistake." His voice broke when he replied, "Because you're not my mistake. You're everything I did right before I learned how easy it was to ruin the best thing I ever had." The wind caught in my throat. For the first time, the truth didn't hurt, it healed. Without thinking, I stepped forward, close enough to smell the faint trace of smoke that never left his skin. His hand brushed mine, tentative, like the first day he held it in that campus cafe years ago. And then I let him. His fingers laced through mine, warm and trembling. Neither of us spoke. The silence between us had changed, no longer heavy, but full. We stood like that for a long time, until the clouds finally cleared completely, revealing a sky scattered with stars. The ocean shimmered beneath it, endless and alive. He turned to me then, his lips curving into the smallest, softest smile. "Do you remember that night in college?" he asked, "when we snuck into the fire station after hours?" I laughed, the memory bursting through like sunlight. "You mean the night we almost got caught kissing behind a fire truck?" "Yeah," he said, grinning. "That one." The grin faded into something gentler. "I remember you said if you ever married someone, you wanted it to be under the stars. No lights, no music, just the two of us and the sky." My breath caught. "You remember that?" He nodded. "I remember everything." Before I could respond, he reached into his jacket pocket. And for a second, my heart stopped. He sank to one knee. The world went still. There, on the wooden boardwalk glimmering with rain, my firefighter, the man who once broke my heart and spent years trying to piece it back together, looked up at me with eyes that held every apology, every memory, every ounce of love he'd never stopped feeling. "Eli," he said, voice trembling, "I've fought fires, storms, and every damn fear I've ever had, but nothing has scared me more than the thought of living without you. I can't undo what I did, but I can promise you this: I'll never stop trying to be the man you deserve. So, if you'll let me." He opened his hand. A simple silver ring. "Come home with me. Marry me." For a moment, all I could do was stare. The stars stretched above us like witnesses, silent, infinite. My chest ached, my throat burned, and tears blurred everything into a haze of light. I thought about all the nights I'd spent hating him, all the mornings I'd woken up missing him anyway, all the times I'd told myself love wasn't enough, but maybe, just maybe, forgiveness was. I sank to my knees too. He looked startled, but I just laughed through my tears. "You're an idiot," I whispered. "I know, and I still love you." His breath caught. "I can't promise it'll be easy," I continued. "I can't promise I won't wake up some nights and still feel the hurt. But if you're willing to fight for this, then so am I." The relief that crossed his face was almost unbearable. He slid the ring onto my finger, his hands shaking, his eyes never leaving mine. Then he pulled me into him, and the kiss, God, the kiss wasn't desperate this time. It was steady, sure, like coming home after years of wandering. Around us, the night hummed, waves crashing, wind whispering, the quiet song of two people finally finding their way back. When we finally broke apart, he pressed his forehead against mine. "I missed you," he murmured. I smiled through the tears. "Then don't ever lose me again." He chuckled softly. "Not even a fire could make me." We stayed there, two fools on a damp boardwalk, under a sky that had seen it all, until the first light of dawn touched the horizon. And for the first time in years, I felt it. Peace. Because love, real love, isn't about never getting burned. It's about choosing to stand in the ashes together and build again. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.